I usually start out with the greeting of hello lovelies, but today I'm kind of like greetings my little goblins of stress, because a lot of you are stressing. I know I have been some kind of way up and down, but I keep returning to my center. I keep returning to things that uplift me, and the main thing that uplifts me is going outside and being in nature. And my pups, who are sleeping on my feet right now, bless them. But listen, everybody's talking about this new moon coming up, and we will get to that. And yes, a Taurus new moon. Yes, we need this. However, you are at the peak release point in the shedding of the moon right now, okay? I think it's the last quarter. Yes, we are at the last quarter of this moon. We are coming off of that full moon in Scorpio, which was a mixed bag. It was a lot, but it held gold. No matter what you were going through or what came up at that full moon, it hit different because many of us have learned, or at least we have acknowledged, we've seen that little shimmer, maybe in the corner of our eye, of that sparkle, of that gold, of that ability to alchemize, the importance of tapping into patience and gratitude again. This is part of the everyday enchantment. And I adjusted my website for, spring and summer vibes, but that full moon to me was the meeting of the sorceress. And to me, the sorceress works with the inner light of herself and the inner light of her knowing and her wisdom, and any light that has been stored from brighter times, and her own ability to alchemize but also enchant her every day in a way that is able to work with the darkness, okay? Whereas the enchantress, she works with the outside light, okay? She is full of light and radiance, and she works with her surroundings, the nature that is in bloom, to accentuate and further her ability to just transform things and make things better on the outside, and that in turn feeds her light on the inside. I hope that makes sense. So to me, this is a time for the meeting of both the sorceress and the enchantress, and they're not at odds. They are here 100% to uplift each other. You have to do the inner work and the shadow work of the sorceress to really keep going with the tools and the magic of the enchantress. You can't just be one all the time. I mean, you can, but it's not balanced, okay? And now is the time to, really walk the walk and continue to really tap into all of that wisdom, all of that knowing, all the things that you say you do, the things that you know you have to do, the things that you know to be true in your soul. The things that you know to be true, that you have foretold, that God and your angels and your guides and your ancestors and, nature has reflected to you, has whispered in your ear, has maybe even shouted at you, okay? You need to heed these things and not act like you're waiting on overnight shipping, okay? Can it be a little nail biting? Sure, okay? But again, then we go back to the sorceress because we remember that is really just a trigger from all the times that perhaps things didn't work out, when you were disappointed, or maybe you weren't listening and things went awry, okay? I'm not saying those things don't happen, but the more enmeshed that you become in this practice, because that's what it is, it's a practice. It's not like a finish line, oh, I've done this and now I'm here. It is something that you devote yourself to living every single day. And it ebbs and it flows, you know, it waxes and wanes, but it's always there, okay? Closed mouths don't get fed. Pay attention to your inner world, okay? What it needs, what's shouting, what's grieving, okay? And use this time with the moon to release what needs to be released. And you will have these little flashes of insight. Not everything is like a huge ritual, okay? You'll have these little bursts of ideas and inspiration of what to do that, what you need, you know, from, you know, who you are now to perhaps your inner child. What helps you put those stories to bed? Bring solace to things that maybe have been triggering lately, things that have felt a little raw. You know, sometimes we're like, oh, you know, okay, I feel like I passed this, and you know, I hate to say it because it, you know, people say it all the time, but healing isn't linear, okay? And not everything has to be healed. Some things just need to be experienced and acknowledged, and then, you know, soothed again. But there's no healing in it. There's no soothing in it. There's no reparation without acknowledgement first, okay? So, and if you feel like you're, you know, playing a broken record with something that you just want to lay to rest, there's a reason why it's popping up right now. And sometimes that reason is just to make sure that you are who you say you are now. That make sure that, yes, this is what I want. I am really ready to close this chapter. I am so done with thinking about this, feeling this, grieving this. Like, okay, this is what it got me. This is what it taught me. This is, you know, what I've gained from it in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, maybe a lot of it didn't belong to you, but it was passed down to you. And that's okay. Sometimes the people who are, you know, the embodiment of the enchantress that can just make things better, make things more beautiful, make things more easy, make things more magical, they get the heaviest work because they are good at making things better and they make it seem effortless. But there's so much inner work that goes along with that. So never forget, never dismiss those of you who have people in your lives, or you might be the person in your life that goes ahead and can shift things, okay? That can make something out of nothing, that could take something that's pretty cool and make it even better, okay? That's the enchantress. You can glean the light and make it even brighter, even more radiant, even more beautiful. But you still gotta work with the sorceress. And right now, like I said, the two are meeting up.